Thank you so much for joining the podcast. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
So tell us about Infinite Giving.
Infinite Giving is an automated investment platform. So we are the first robo-advisor built specifically for nonprofits. We help you hedge against inflation, grow your assets, and create and manage endowments.
What led you to start the platform?
Great question. I was an executive director and founder of a nonprofit.
Okay.
So I came from that. I understand scarcity mindset. I understand difficult board conversations. And I then later in life had a 9-year career in tech startups. So advising tech startups, working with them, and also got into venture capital. I also serve on 3 nonprofit boards, one for higher education. So I have this really unique blend of board experience, being an executive director, walking in those shoes, and then also with this tech and venture capital and finance background, felt like Infinite Giving was this perfect blend of like what I was meant to build and how we could serve the people who needed it the most.
Was there like a specific moment that you had encountered just a challenge with, whether it's accepting stock donations or on the investing platform side, that led you to wanting to start Infinite Giving?
Yeah, I think a lot of was like, what am I uniquely made in my experience to, what problem is that to solve? And looking at the investment opportunities that nonprofits have is very traditional.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of opportunities that actually can decrease fees, that can make it easy to understand and approachable, that allows them to create endowments. So that it's just a very traditional industry. And a lot of it is just ripe for disruption and an opportunity for us to leverage technology to really, it's a very modern technology that allows them to really grow their giving.
Yeah. So, I mean, I imagine there are some challenges in getting nonprofits to change sort of their perspective on what to do with idle money sitting in the bank.
Yes.
Right? A lot of times organizations try to build up, a cushion for a rainy day and so forth, aren't naturally inclined, unless they're bigger, to invest. So talk to us a little bit about how Infinite Giving helps sort of bridge that divide and educates nonprofits around investing opportunities.
Yeah, I think as most nonprofit leaders know, anything worth doing is hard.
Yeah, that's true.
And so a lot of it is education. We spend a lot of time talking to people and offering them a lot of data, right? Data doesn't lie. And so when you're looking at inflation, for instance, right now we have 8.5% inflation. Is this a forever thing? Surely we all hope not, right? But even when you're looking at, in a great economy, the Fed's target inflation rate is 2%. Now you look at a savings account, a money market, a CD, maybe 0.06%, 0.11%, right? And so what feels safe is an emotional decision that we're making. We're saying, all right, I'm going to put it away for a rainy day. It's in a savings account and I need it. But when an emergency happens and you actually go maybe 3, 4, 5 years down the road, you need to access that savings. It is no longer worth the same amount of money that it was before because of inflation. So anything sitting in a money market, savings account, or a CD is actively losing value. And so we really wanted to democratize access to conservative portfolios, right? We leverage ETFs and index funds. And a lot of that is also based off the data that decades of academic research has proven that over 90% of active wealth advisors cannot outperform index funds over a 5-year period. So that's where you've had this big rise of passive investing and robo-advising. So when we talk about robo-advising, that's using mathematical algorithms, right? And it's using technology to help you create investment decisions. And it's existed for over a decade. You've got Wealthfront, you've got Betterment, you've got Schwab Intelligent Portfolios. So they exist. Merrill Lynch has one. Everyone's got one.
Yeah.
It's only been available for retail customers. Like you and I personally could go invest. My husband and I have invested in Wealthfront for years. Great transparency, easy access to our funds, incredibly reduced fees. All those are wins for nonprofits. And so what Infinite Giving is we're the first robo-advisor that allows for entity investing. So we're bringing this technology that allows all of these great outcomes and helping nonprofits access those.
That's amazing. How's traction been so far? You mentioned about a year in to starting the business. So how are nonprofits responding to the technology? Really well.
And once they see our product, they want it. A lot of it is understanding. A lot of it is education around fees. I will say that probably 95% of the nonprofits we speak to do not understand or know their investment fees. And when you're talking about significant money going to third-party vendors, that they shouldn't have to spend, it becomes really significant, but they don't understand what's reasonable, right? So Common Fund Institute did a big survey where they said the average endowment that's $25 million is paying an average of 1.34% in fees.
Wow.
So the question is that reasonable? Is that not? I've talked to others who are paying upwards of 2%, 2.5%. And so there's a lot of opportunities to decrease that by using technology, and that's what Infinite Giving provides. I literally did an RFP for an organization the other day, and I was like, great. Just on these fees, we're not even talking about asset growing, but just on these fees, we were going to save them close to $900,000 in third-party fees over 5 years.
Wow.
And yet they thought they had great fee structure.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So it's when that money could be going to like your mission or your bottom line, like it's not wrong because that's been what's available.
Yeah.
But now with Infinite Giving, you have different opportunities and you're able to put that money towards things that are more important.
Yeah. As part of your go-to-market, have you found that a lot of nonprofits already have like an active, like the ability to accept stock donations? I mean, you think about sort of like, where wealth is at. Mm-hmm. Very few people actually have cash just sitting in the bank, right?
Yes.
Individuals. It's usually in the markets to some degree. Yet so little nonprofits actually have the capabilities of accepting non-cash donations. And so how has that been in going to market, understanding sort of organizations' capacity? Have you had to do a lot of educating there, or have you found nonprofits have already been accepting stock donations to an extent?
Yeah, so as far as go-to-market, I mean, we're an investment platform. We are a registered investment advisor, so they still we're their outsourced CIO, we're their fiduciary, so we have technology, that's what we use, but we also have people if they need it. So you do get an investment advisor if you need them to join finance committee meetings or board meetings. I would say usually you kind of have two paths. You're a smaller nonprofit who is scared to invest, or you don't meet the high minimums, or you don't want to pay really high fees and you're in a savings account money market. And so that's where we're talking about hedging against inflation and educating that way. If they are currently investing, then often it's about understanding fee structure, understanding, what a diversified portfolio is and why you should not manage that money yourself, right? In that board. So that's always the most affordable way is just go do it yourself. But then it's like, do you really want to have fiduciary responsibilities? And then from there with stocks, so once you're on our platform, you're able to use we have several different gifting tools, which allows you to receive stocks for free, receive crypto for free, and then create and manage endowments. And we even have a unique endowment gifting tool.
Oh, wow.
So all that to say is, to your point, high wealth donors carry the majority of their money not in cash.
Yeah.
And it's because they understand inflation and they know, hey, if I leave my money sitting in a savings account, I'm going to be actively losing value. So I'm going to put it into the market.
Yeah.
And it's the most tax efficient way to give. So when you're asking donors to give you cash, that means they're like, okay, I'm going to have to go sell these stocks. I'm going to pay long-term capital gains on those. And then it's a lot of manual back and forth. And then they have to eventually, whatever they end up giving, the nonprofit has a smaller gift left, right? And so most nonprofits receive stocks. Or they know we can do that.
Yeah.
Like you're like, oh, they're like, yeah, we can do that.
Download
you
this
got
PDF.
A call.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Can I download this, 10-page form and then wet ink and fax it to whatever, and then your guy's got to call my guy, and then blah blah blah. And so what we've done is we've created a custom URL that makes it really easy. They have 4 things to fill out. That's like, here, I'm going to gift you these 100 Apple shares. Here's what I want to do. And they can embed it into an email, into a button on their website. And then from there, once they fill that out, the nonprofit gets notified, says, hey, Karen Houghton's going to give you 100 Apple shares. Get ready for it and keep an eye out on it. And then when we receive those shares, we liquidate them immediately and reinvest it into a diversified portfolio.
Okay.
So the idea is right now, can most people, if they would like to, figure out how to open a brokerage account? Yes. It takes weeks. It takes paper. It's really pain. We do a fully digital brokerage account opening in about 15 minutes for an entity account.
Wow.
And then from there, with the stock gifting, we provide transparency. So you can go in and say, great, I didn't actually have to do anything as a nonprofit. I just was like, oh, I received it. And I just get to say thank you.
Yeah.
And then we're able to do that. And that's how we're doing crypto as well, is that you'll just be able to receive that. And then we immediately turn it to fiat cash and then reinvest it into a diversified portfolio.
Got it. On the stock side, how big is the stock giving market? Do you know how much annually is given through stock donations? Is that Is that monitored?
That's a good question. I know Russell James did a study that showed that if you start asking for cash gifts and stock gifts, you can grow your giving up to 55%,
wow.
which I find extraordinarily high.
Yeah.
And it's not like this magic, oh, if I do this and put this on my website, it's all going to come in.
Yeah.
So it's still education, but it's certainly a increasingly popular conversation because it's been an untapped opportunity by most nonprofits.
Yeah.
And when you're telling these high wealth donors, like, hey, this is the most tax efficient way to give. You won't have to pay long-term capital gains. Oh, by the way, we make it really easy for you. You don't have to call somebody. And then they get a higher deduction off the gift and the nonprofit is able to receive that. It's really helpful. And I think the gifts tend to be significantly higher on average as well than a cash gift.
I think I heard something like the average stock donation was like $6,000 or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is significantly more than cash.
Yeah, and cash gift like $20 here, $20 there.
Yeah, yeah.
And so it's a lot of it is about intentionality, education, and creating easy opportunities for those donors to connect with you.
So you're a year in. What does the next couple of years have in store? What are you excited about, whether on the technology side that you guys are building, growth plans? What are you looking forward to over the next couple of years?
Absolutely. We look forward to being the asset management and investment platform that all nonprofits use. So there's no one else out there doing what we're doing the way we're doing it, and it's what's best for the customer, which is the nonprofit. So it's able to reduce fees. Our dashboard is so intuitive. It's really easy to use. You have access to your money. You can have multi-users log in, and you can have different, permissions. So, hey, you want to see that? Great, but you can't actually move money, right? So you can create those permissions, and it just allows a lot of accountability and transparency. And what I personally would love to see is a rise in micro endowments, because I think that's endowments are not for everybody, right? You got to get out of that scarcity mindset. You got to build your reserves.
Yeah.
But the idea that endowments are only for higher education, I think small to mid-sized nonprofits are missing out on a huge opportunity. And that's an incredible opportunity also to build sustainability. And I think too many people don't understand endowments. Like, it's not just restricted endowments anymore. Like, we only do quasi-endowments or unrestricted endowments. And the idea that an endowment is something that you can use to fund a scholarship, to fund a program, to fund salary increases. We're working with an independent school right now, and their endowment is literally so they can use that disbursement to give all of their teachers raises.
Oh, wow.
Cool. And I'm like, that's so important. And yes, do you know how, we can help you build a campaign around that. Like, there's a lot of easy ways to do that. And you're like, yes, people will still give to operations. A lot of it is about the story you tell.
Yeah.
And what higher ed has shown us is that high wealth donors want to give endowments.
Yeah.
Do you know how big Harvard's endowment is?
If I had to guess, I want to guess multi-billions.
$53 billion.
Wow.
Stanford's $33 billion.
Wow.
And God bless those schools. I'm happy for them. But I think most of us listening to this would be like, they're good.
Yeah.
They don't need more, So
seriously.
it's like, how do we give other people the tools to be able to receive that? Because high wealth donors want to give endowments. It's the easiest story to tell.
Yeah.
A gift that you give once that builds sustainability and a legacy and gets passed generation to generation.
Yeah.
And if it's unrestricted, and you're starting to look at long-term goals, right? If you're not setting 10, 20-year goals, don't do an endowment. But if you are, and you're like, hey, no, we're going to be in existence, we're seeing this long-term path, then you have the opportunity to start asking for endowment gifts. And we have a donor portal where they can log in and they see it named after them. And we have really subtle asks where it's like, would you like to add to your endowment? And we let them add stock and cash gifts into their endowment, and they can invite people into that.
Wow.
So it's almost like you're crowdfunding this endowment. We have a little activity feed where it's like, oh, cousin so-and-so added to it, or so-and-so. And so even though they're small, the idea is that every year they're excited and feel connected. Because usually if you give an endowment, I've spoken with people here today at AFP ICON that's like, hey, an endowment, we feel really disconnected, or we don't know what to do with it. And I think that's a great opportunity for us to change the story we're telling and tap into more opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing. So setting the endowment aside real quick, because as you mentioned, it's not for every nonprofit. I think it's probably a size capacity thing. All the other services and products that you do offer, for nonprofits listening, what's the right profile or cash minimum requirement to get started with infinite giving?
Yeah, our minimum investment is $25,000.
Okay.
And then we serve customers up to $100 million essentially.
Okay.
So right now, I think our sweet spot's going to be in that between kind of 1 in 50 million, which
Yeah.
is a massive like difference,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think when you're getting over 100 million, there's just some different challenges and different types of boards. And they also often have the ability to diversify into real estate and different things, right? So we're looking at just simplifying ETFs, index funds, having fiduciary responsibilities, and growing your asset, giving it away that's really approachable and easy to understand.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome. All right, so I have some rapid fire questions.
Let's
to
go.
ask.
Let's do it.
There's no wrong or right answer.
Wait, do I get to ask these questions back to you?
Sure. Yeah, you have. You're the first one to ask that,
Okay.
actually, but
Okay.
you're
Let's do
welcome
it.
to. All right, movies or series?
Series.
Which is your favorite series?
Oh gosh, depends on the day you ask me.
What are you actively watching? What's in your queue now that you're the most interested in?
I'm like panicking. I can't even tell you right now because
Okay.
here's what happens: is I go really deep and I watch it all, and then I'm like, great, done, next.
Yeah, next. Yeah.
And then I just consume. It's like how I read books. I read books like I watch movies, where I'm like, great, I sit down, I read that whole book in like 3 days, and then I just have to like come up for air.
Okay.
I love
yeah.
series. How about you?
I'm serious too. I binged all of the the tech crashes on.
Absolutely.
So like We Crash.
Oh, yeah.
It was super fascinating.
Man, We Crash so fascinating.
Yeah.
That could be a whole podcast.
It
is a podcast.
It is. Yeah, it is. It's like everything now. But what's crazy is I'm blanking on the actor's name now that plays Adam.
Yep.
But if you see them side by side, it's crazy
Right?
like how well he did. They did like acts and he nailed it.
Yes.
But yeah, and then also what's it called? Super Pumped about the fall
I
of
don't know
Uber.
that one.
Or of Travis.
Yeah. I haven't watched that one.
That one's pretty interesting too.
Yeah.
But
Pretty
yeah.
sure that another one's going to be made about Twitter right now.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Okay, tacos or cheeseburgers?
If it's a Tuesday taco, because it's Taco
Yeah.
Tuesdays,
Yeah.
but any other day cheeseburger.
Okay.
How about you?
I'm cheeseburger
Yeah,
for
right.
sure.
I have a 6-year-old daughter. Well, she's about to be 6. She could eat cheeseburgers every single day,
Oh,
her whole life.
I have twins, 6-year-old twins,
Oh, there you
and
go.
that's what they ask for every day.
It's
is a
the
hamburger
best
Thin-N-Out.
age.
Yeah.
Cheeseburgers are great too. It's the best age for cheeseburgers.
Yeah. Okay, beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach.
We're in Atlanta, so we live right on that 30A, not far from. So it's like 5 hours. So we go to 30A, like the Panhandle of Florida, a lot.
Okay. Yeah. And it's
And we have Blue Ridge Mountains north of us, by like an hour and a half.
you have both, but yeah,
Sure.
like if you had to live somewhere the rest of your life, I'm like beach, nice weather, not the ocean. I mean, not the mountains. Digital reading or an actual book?
Actual book.
Actual hardcover or soft?
Oh, good question. I love a good hardcover book, but I'm gonna. Yeah, hardcover.
Hardcover.
I would say the practicality. I always buy softcover because they're more affordable.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend money on that. But yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I'm also
Hardcovers look better on bookshelves.
yes, they're more
So,
decorative.
yes.
I also prefer actual versus digital.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm on digital, like I'm computer, phones, all of that.
Yeah.
someday at
Need
night,
a
so I
break.
just want to,
It doesn't feel like I'm reading a book when it's on
No,
digital.
I need
either,
to be able to fold the little corner down.
You know
It's
the
great.
progress. See how much more you have to
Yes.
go to end the book.
Yes.
Yeah, it's important. Ice cream or froyo?
Ice cream.
Ice cream. Yeah.
Yes, I
think
feel
froyo-
passionately about
Everyone has
that.
said ice cream. I think froyo is on its way out. I think it needs to go.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
had its moment.
Yeah.
Football or football?
Well, I'm from Georgia,
Okay.
so absolutely go Bulldogs.
Bulldogs.
National champs all the
right,
way.
so you're football. You're
yeah,
football.
yeah, football. How about you?
I'm not a sports person.
Yeah, I'm married
Um,
into it.
Yeah. Okay. So like there's only sports on the TV if a friend is over that's like interested in the game.
Yeah,
Or it's like the playoffs and like
that's a
wanna watch
good
the final
friend.
say.
You're a good friend to do that.
Yeah, it's the only reason why I have cable for my friends. Moana or Aladdin
Moana.
or Encanto.
Moana.
Moana. Yeah.
I know.
That's
I like it.
It's too good. Too
Yeah,
good.
although I can sing a lot of the Aladdin. That's like what we grew up on, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Moana for my daughter, Aladdin for
Aladdin
me.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for participating. Thanks for joining
Absolutely.
the podcast. I would love to do a deeper dive on just all things investing for nonprofits.
Right? This could be such a big conversation. but
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So thanks for taking the time
Yeah.
to bring us up to speed today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.